Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, I'm going to talk about Thanksgiving week. It's the biggest travel week of the entire year for the United States. And there's a lot of snow to talk about and there's a lot of rain. So I wanted to get this out there so you can kind of plan ahead and know what to expect. So before we do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel as I upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. All right, so let's get started. So I figured we'd start off with the winter precipitation. This could be a little bit more prevalent of what might take place and how this kind of transpires through the winter month. And this is kind of happened last night. When you get these systems coming in, and these are the different types of precipitation. So there's always typically there's a warm air aloft. You know, cold air is deep and dense and it's shallow. So it kind of sinks to the surface. So it all starts off as snow, all right? But if you have that warm air aloft, and this typically about 5,000 feet, then that'll actually melt through that warm layer, and it'll form as rain at the surface. But a lot of times that cold Arctic air is dense, and it's deep, and it sinks to the surface. So it starts off as snow, and then it melts in that warm layer, and then you have what they call freezing rain at the surface, where at the surface, there's temperatures below freezing. And then you kind of make that transition over to sleet, where that warm layer is a lot closer in. There's only like 2,000 feet instead of 5. So what happens is you have that cold layer, it snows, and then it melts, and then it refreezes down at the surface, and it forms these little pellets called sleet. So, and then it forms all snow when you have what they call dynamic cooling, as typically the systems come in from the west and it causes updrafts. And within that updraft, it lifts some of that cold air in the surface and it mixes in with that warm layer and it creates this overrunning effect. And it basically freezes all layers of the atmosphere and therefore you get all snow. So that's kind of how you make that transition from when you had icy, sleet, freezing rain in the Northeast last night. And then it formed on the backside with that overrunning effect with all snow. All right. So I wanted to kind of explain that for you guys. And so here's an index I follow a lot, guys. This is the SOI index, the Southern Oscillation Index. And if you had been with me for the last 2 months, it first signaled, it went below 8 minus, when it goes below 8, that signals kind of a weak El Nino. This is the 90-day moving average. It first signaled in the middle of September, and it's a lagging indicator. And then we had above average precipitation in October for the South and Southeast. Well, last week, it signaled again when it went below -8. And here's the last 2 days. There's actually been 4 times where we had a massive drop in the SOI index. And the last 2 days on the daily, we've had -27. And now this 90-day, instead of -8, it's actually approaching almost -9. So what that typically does is that activates the Pacific jet. And we'll go over that. So for Thanksgiving week, I'm watching 2 systems. Here's the 500 millibar pattern. Everything happens at the upper layer. So that's why I look at the upper layer first, and then that'll transpire down to the surface. So next Tuesday, I'm watching a deep trough that's going to be digging into the middle, central, Midwest part of the country. That's going to be it's going to intensify over the plains throughout the week. So if we take it out in another frame, those isobars tighten it up. This is about Tuesday night time frame into Wednesday morning. And this is the day before Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are going to be starting to travel. This is a big travel week for you guys. So, and this is going to be a heavy snowmaker for the South and bringing a lot of snow for Kansas and Oklahoma. And we'll kind of go over some of the snow maps. But as this lifts up, it deepens even further deep south over Kansas, over the Central Plains. I don't know the exact track yet, but kind of gives you an idea of where this might actually take place. And this is 8 days from now. So we'll fine tune this as we go out throughout the week. And then there's another system on the back side of that. So that lifts up quick. It goes through the central Midwest. It goes up through Illinois. And then on the back side, you have another system digging into the plains again on Thanksgiving. And that'll take part swing in on Friday, Black Friday, when a lot of people are going to be out shopping. So you're going to have more rain and snow to deal with in the plains as you shop for the day after Thanksgiving. And you can see this is the water vapor imagery of the precipitation water content. And this is kind of shows you how the SOI index works. It activates the Pacific jet and it'll lift that moisture from the Gulf and lift it up into the United States. And so as these systems come in with this cold air, it'll wrap around, right? So that dynamic cooling will take place and it'll deepen. So this moisture will filter in and that cold air will sink in. And then so you'll create a heavy snow event over the plains for Thanksgiving week. So that's what I'm looking out for. And this will happen again on the, like I said, on that second system. And that's just going to be a continuous flow because you've got more moisture coming in from the Pacific jet. And if we take a look at the precipitation over the next 10 days, it's really prevalent in the south and southeast, where if the SOI wasn't a negative almost 9 on the 90-day moving average, you would not have this abundant moisture for this time of year. So it's got a lot of moisture to work with as this swings up to the midsections of the country, up in Illinois, and eventually up into the Northeast and affecting parts of Canada as well. So here's some of the temperatures. And again, this is 8 days out, but it kind of gives you an idea of that first system digging in. It'll drop down to 37 in Dallas the day before Thanksgiving. But on the backside, widespread 20s over the Dakotas and Idaho, and even some of the teens showing up in Colorado. And where that low kind of centers, you'll be in that sweet spot of the 20, 25 degree temperature where you'll be dumping that heavy snow over the plains. So there's going to be some 10 inch plus amounts for Thanksgiving week in the plains. So if we take it out another frame on Thanksgiving, we're kind of in that transition between those two systems. It kind of warms up, but we have another that second system on the backside diving down in, and so we'll have more snow to deal with and widespread teens. And these are high temperatures, so these are definitely a chilly air mass coming in off the northwest flow for Thanksgiving. So this is going to impact a huge part of the country where you'll have a lot of snow and a lot of rain on the south side to deal with. So you'll have to plan accordingly. And here is the overall snow map as of right now. Again, this is 10 days out. So I expect this to be a little bit more bullish as this gets closer in. But this is the current Euro model guesstimates showing that snowpack digging in. And it's probably the less bullish of a lot of the models I'm going to show you. It doesn't even have that low deepen into the Texas. So I'm thinking the Panhandle will get a lot more snow. I put out my snow map between now and the end of November. So check that out. I'll tag it at the end of this video. So of kind of my guesstimate of how much snow would fall in these areas of where it actually take place between now and the end of November. But this will swing up the plains and bring more snow to Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin, where you've already seen 16, 17 inches of snow, and you're going to tack onto those numbers with these systems coming on. And here's the latest GFS model, and it didn't even have this system digging into the plains. I think this is gonna be way off, but it has it digging in, but then swinging up way north than I think it's gonna be. So this kind of gives you an idea of some of the snow maps are kind of all over the map right now. And here's the latest Canadian model showing that a little bit further south, which I think is gonna be accurate. But I think the most accurate model as of currently is the GEFS model, showing that snowpack digging much further south. But I think even then, it's still going to be a little bit more bullish than what it's displaying here, showing that system over the plains, over the Rockies, swinging up into the Midwest of the part of the country, and eventually impacting a lot of the Northeast areas of New England and impacting more snow for you guys in Canada. So that'll kind of give you an overall picture of how Thanksgiving's going to play out. I wanted to give you a kind of a summary because I know it's a big travel week for a lot of the huge part of the country. And definitely I appreciate you guys watching, and share this video on social media if you feel you've gained value in this video. And of course, the people that like weather-related content, I appreciate you guys watching, and definitely subscribe to my channel and catch me at the next video before I protect you before and after the storm.